Okay, right on, Thomas. So, tell me about your trip. About what do you call it? What do you call your story?
I call it the Galiano Shenanigans.
Right on.
All right. Okay, so on the long weekend, on a camping trip, we went to Galiano by boat with our cadet corps, right? So we were like, walk, 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 just keep walking, just keep. So we walked on the boat, right? Right? Okay. And then we, the boat, we got on the wrong boat, and we ended up at Salt Spring. But then, since we were on the wrong boat, we had to go back to Victoria. And then we got on the right boat, and then it took us to, like, some weird island, Pender maybe. And then we went further out to Galiano. And then we got off the boat. And then, so what happened then was, it was nighttime, and then we got to camp, and then everything was set up, and then I got my stuff on, and I put my stuff down, and then, then we slept. And then, the next day, I had a lesson, right? And then we were like, boom, 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 and then that lesson finished. And then we had another lesson, and then it was the same lesson, so we finished it in like 2 minutes, I guess. And then we had 2 hours to do whatever, right? So then we went off. We walked off into the woods. And then I found this flower. It was a really pretty green leaf. And then it had like pew, pew, pew. And then I fashioned a mortar and pestle out of a rock and another rock. And I was like... And I smushed it all up. And then I took another leaf and I rolled it up and ate it like a burrito. It was a very good burrito. I'll have you know. And then I took that ground up substance and I didn't want it, so I threw it at a squirrel. But and then that squirrel. That squirrel right there. And then but before that I took some and then I put it between my toes because my toes were cold. And then so we walked on, and we were like, just keep walking, and then I was going, and then I found a bear. It was a big bear, about that big, but it was actually like the big bear. And then I started punching it. I was like, yeah, that looks like him over there. That bear. That's like we had that. And then.
Oh damn!
And then we kept punching it.
Continues.
We were punching it.
God damn.
And then it went like with my thumb. It went like so it bit my thumb and it broke the thumbnail.
Can I see it? Yeah.
It's pretty. And then
Okay, what is it?
broke the thumbnail. And then what happened then was they were like, why are you punching that tree? What'd tree ever do to you? That tree ain't do nothing ever to you. I was like, it's not a tree, it's a bear. But then later, I was still punching it, and then later, it became a tree. And it was like a big tree, and it was like, in an arc, it was like more like, and then it had like a big mushroom on the top, and it looked like a bear's face. So that's why I thought it was a bear. And maybe it was my toe warmers that made me think it was a bear, because toe warmers.
And niggers. Grayson, he's telling a story to the camera. So if you could just work your way out of here.
And then what happened? It was a tree, and then I was punching it, and then thank you. And I feel better already. Okay, so then I was like the bear, and then pushed me away, but it was a tree. Oh, thank you. It was a tree, and then that tree, which was a bear, pushed me away because it was a bum, right? And then I was like. And then we ran back to camp. We were like, just keep running. And then we were like, oh no, look at my Tomily Wummily. And then and then they were like, oh gosh, golly, gotta fix that. So then they ripped off the nail, and then they were like, and then they like washed it, and then they put something on it, and then it was comfy and it was cozy, like a thumb bandage. A blanket on my back and a blanket on my front, and I was still cold. And I was shaking, and I was like shaking all about. And then I put my right hand in, and I put my right hand out, and then my hand was burned, and it hurt a lot.
Was your hand burned because you put your right hand into the fire?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. We were around a campfire, and I like put my right hand in,
Right.
take my right hand out of the fire. After 5 minutes, and then my hand was like burnt and stuff, right? You didn't see it, you would know. And it was burnt, and it sucked. And then we're like, well, you know what you gotta do? You gotta put some butter on that burn, because butter helps burn. So we took a stick of butter and like, boom! And then we left it there, and it melted on my hand. And then we cooked popcorn with the melted part, and then with the rest of the stick of the butter. The next morning, we had food, and then we were like, everyone gets butter on their food. But the butter was all bloody, and that's the only butter we had. So I'm like, I got an idea. I got plenty of butter at my house. So I'll just swim, right? So then I went to the beach. I was like, just keep going to the beach. Just keep going to the beach. And I got to the beach, and I'm like, all right, I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. So then I jumped in the water, and I was like, just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. For about probably half an hour, 45 minutes, you know? No less. But probably more. Probably more. And then I was like, oh God, I'm so far out. Like, I was a whole probably 5 meters out. I mean, in 45 minutes, that's a good time right there. But earlier in the day, I had a loaf of, when I was at the campfire, I was in a lot of pain. And you know, pain in French is bread, is like P-A-I-N. And then it's the pain, but then there's window panes as well. But the bread was window pane infused. So when I took a bite, it was like, ow! And then it cut the roof of my mouth, and it was bleeding. And it was bleeding so much that it was like 50 pints of blood a millisecond. And then, so I was I was hurting, and then I got shaky wakies because cannibalism is no good, right? And then we were out back to the beach, so the roof of my mouth was bleeding, and I was in the water, I was like, ugh, and suddenly I forgot how to swim, right? That happens occasionally, right? It happens to me every day, you know, I just forget how to do things, right? And then, like, for example, right now I just forgot how do I talk? So, okay, so I forgot how to swim, and then all the blood attracted a sharky warky. Me, and then a sharky warky. Oh, story time food!
It's just not for you.
I
Afterwards,
got a sharky warky. And then the sharky warky was like, arr! But it was actually like, arr. And I was like, how do I punch? And then I forgot how to punch, so I was like, right? And then I'm like, oh God, get out of the water. So I put my hands on the water and I tried to pull myself up, but the water is too watery, so I just sunk, right? My hands just went in the water, and it didn't work at all. So I'm like, oh, I know, I have an idea. So I jumped on the shark's back, and it was chasing its tail like a dog would chase its tail, and then it like, but say this was the shore and this was the water, it was like choo 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 choo, right? And then like a choo 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 like a train, right? And then it got beached, and I'm like, thanks, Mr. Shark, and then I slapped it on the back, and then I'm like, I'll call you Bruce. By the way, I've never seen Finding Nemo. By the way, So then the shark, who I call Bruce, it was beach, so I pushed it in the water, and he was like, thanks, I'll call you Slam Jam Jingle Jongle. And I'm like, that ain't my name. My name's Slam Jam Jomus. You're Bruce. Again, haven't seen Finding Nemo. Not ever. At all. And then I went back ashore, and then it was like, just keep going to shore. And then we had lunch on the beach, and then there was blood in the water, and there was a shark. And then I was having fun, and then so we went back in the woods. And then like I climbed a tree, and then I was like climb. And the tree like it went like and it bent, and then I was like, uh-oh, I'm too fat. And then I lost some of my fat because that climb was workout. And I was like at the top, and I was fat when it was here. And then my fat just disappeared, and I was like... And then I hit the ground. And then the next morning, what happened was... we opened my tent door, and there was a raccoon. Raccoon. And then there was... And then, so then I saw the raccoon, and I'm like, and I threw it out my tent. But then the tent across from me, the people in it was opening the window as I had got thrown the raccoon, and then it went into their tent, and then and then the raccoon bit them, and then they both turned into raccoons. And then they had dragon wings, so they were were-raccoon dragon-winged beasts. And then they flew, but then midair they turned back into humans, and they lost the dragon wing, and they fell and they hit the ground. And I was like, uh-oh.
Hey,
but they were falling.
You gotta wrap that down.
But as they were falling, I was like, oh god, what do I do? What do I do? So right, and then I was standing on a trampoline. I'm still in my tent. I don't know how I was on the trampoline or anything. But then I'm like, oh god! So I throw the trampoline under them, and then
it broke.
they hit the trampoline.
Hey, this is your guy. This is who you're supposed to be focusing on.
They hit the trampoline, and then the trampoline broke because they were in the sky. It's not gonna like bounce them. That's stupid. And then they went through the ground, and their feet were stuck in the ground, and then they were like, whoa, I'm in the ground, whoa. And then what happened next was I went out in the woods, and then I found Cohen Carlson. And then he had a portable trampoline, and then he threw it, and he was like, you and me, we're on the X, jump a tramp, bootapa. And then I was double bouncing. And then Cohen disappeared, and the trampoline disappeared, and I hit the ground, and I just made a giant hole. And then in the ground, I was like, there's the ground, and there's me. I was like, and there's the center of the earth down here, like way down there. And I was like, and I stopped, and I'm like, oh, I can feel the magma heat radiating through my body. So then I'm like, oh, what do I do? And then all I had was a spoon. So I ate some dirt with a spoon, I broke a spoon, I threw it away, and then I dug a hole with my hands up to the surface. I was like, there's a hole there, and I made a hole like that, so I could climb it. And then what happened then was, I actually ran to camp, and I was like, I just saw the center of the universe! I can see the forces that hold the universe together. And then... what happened then was, I met up with my friend, and you were like, hey, I lost my knife, help me find my Canivy, and I was like, and then I pulled it, and then I'm like, turn around, right, and then there's a knife in his back, and I pulled it out, and he's like, hey, what'd you do that for, right, and then, so there was, and then, like, I found your knife, right, and then he was like, oh, that's where it was, I was planning to get someone in the back with that. It was poisoned. And then he just died, I guess maybe because he was sad that he stabbed nothing to do with the poison. So what happened? And then I ran and I'm like, oh, sad. And then I'm like, oh no. And then I was like, just keep running, 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 just keep. And I ran all the way back. Because I was at a tree, and then he called me over, and I ran all the way back to that tree. And then I was like, right? And then I lit a fire under the tree, and then the fire hollowed out the tree, and then I slept there, and that's where I live now. I don't go anywhere else other than that tree. That tree is, I've never been out of that tree, ever. Believe me. Like, you can look around you. This is my tree, right?
Well, you're running out of time, Thomas. So thanks for joining us.
That was my story.
Yeah.
But I thought we were friends. And then, so I walked out of the tree, breaking my rules of never leaving the tree. And then I walked to the beach, and I'm like, "Hey, it's Brucey Woosey."
Come on, let's go.
Brucey
You better
Woosey.
fucking finish it with "This is how I became the Prince of Bel-Air."
Okay, right? And then I was like, "Hey, it's Brucey Woosey," right? And then I killed him because he was trying to eat me, right? And then what happened then was,
No.
okay. I'm still no. And then so I walked back to camp. And then it was like a giant sign. That's why. A giant sign. I was like, "Welcome to Bel Air." And I was like, my life got flipped, turned upside down. And now I'm the Fresh Prince of Bel Air, and I'm a magic man.